Chat, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. On it with some skate today. Which y'all boys know about it. You know, this video I feel like it's gonna be a different video for the channel. It's got so much in my mind, and you know, I figured I might as well use this as an outlet. You know, kind of use video games as an escape. But I do think it'd be good just to put everything on paper. I think you know, one of the topics I want to talk about today. It's just kind of like running your own race, you know? Like it's really easy kind of get caught up in what other people are doing, you know, you kind of feel either left behind or whatever the case is, you know? But with that being said, you know, a lot of people only show you what they want you to see. And kind of, you know what I'm saying, pollute your brain. You know, it's always seeing someone, you know, doing some crazy stuff, whether they're traveling, whatever it is. You know, you just gotta take all that with a grain of salt. That's why I think skate's a perfect, you know, kind of game to kind of harp on these kind of topics, because we just chilling. I had this idea last night to do this. Shit. I gotta jump over that. Hold on, chat. Just hit me jump this thing. Shit. Nothing goes as planned, chat. With that being said, kind of seeing what everyone else has got going on. You know, not really sure what your purpose is and all that kind of stuff. You can kind of have, like, I would say, identity crisis. But you know, I feel like it's kind of human to be like, every now and then to be like, what do you really want out of life? You know, not every day is guaranteed. We all know that. But I do feel like we do take it for granted. You know, life's a crazy place, you know. Anything can happen at any moment. That's just the reality of life. I've been really trying to figure out what I want out of life, who I am as a person, the way I act and stuff like that. Is that truly who I am? Or is it just like a persona or a front to, you know, appeal to masses, you know? I feel like the way I treat, obviously you can treat family different than like some stranger, but you know, I do feel like the world would be a better place if people did, you know? Trying to treat people with love. But yeah, you know, every now and then I kind of be like, am I a nice guy because that's who I am in my soul? You know? Or am I a nice guy because people like nice people? Another topic I kind of want to talk about is just like, I guess it kind of correlates to running your own race, but you know, I had a close friend of mine pass away, and all the guys are just like, and he was a go-getter, you know, my friend that passed away, he was a go-getter, he was always doing stuff. And you know, the motto of the family now is like just to take advantage of every day, you know, make every day count. Sometimes I feel like, you know, I'm not living up to that standard, you know. It's like the situation I'm in, the job I'm in, it kind of feels like Groundhog Day, you know. I preach it, you know, I talk to the homies, you know, every now and then. I'm just like, gotta keep taking advantage of every day. But am I really taking advantage of every day? Am I really? I don't think so. I bought a bass guitar, I bought a skateboard, you know, pick up new hobbies. You know, I got so many positive people in my life that, like, obviously, like, they got my back. I guess on the topic of that, just like how to deal with grief, you know, that's something I've been kind of, you know, dealing with and trying to figure out. Something I've kind of learned is that, you know, whatever the situation was, whatever happened, there's always going to be something, someone, some place, a song, an object, whatever it is that's going to remind you of, you know, that person or whatever the case is that, you know, kind of holds that spot in my heart, you know what I'm saying? So, man, unfortunately, I think that's just life, and, you know, I don't think that's something that'll ever go away. It's how the cookie crumbles, you know? I'd rather have that feeling of missing my best friends, and, you know, the what ifs, you know, all that kind of stuff, rather than not having them at all, you know? I guess just speaking from experience, you know, really, for the people that you really love, if you see there's something off, speak on it, you know what I'm saying? I think that's probably my biggest regret in life, especially from my first man who passed away. I could kind of tell there was like a slight change in his demeanor, but, you know, I never really like dived deep. You know, I was always telling him I loved him and everything. You know, I never pulled him aside. I was like, hey man, what's going on? Like, they're there, but they're not there. You know, they're physically there, but they're mentally somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's our job as friends, family members, to really kind of anchor people down. And that's something that I've really kind of strive to be, is an anchor for folks, you know? I feel like, you know, more people need that. Take the time to kind of read your folks, make sure they're doing all right. Because you never know what they're going through. Just like how not everyone knows what you're going through, you know? I think that's what some people fail to kind of, you know, grasp. Is that like that person that cuts you off in traffic could be like grandma that like gets scared to death of driving. Just small shit like that. Like you never know like how people's days are going on or like what their intentions are. Some people might be more angry at the situation than for you, but it might come off personal, you know? So I feel like that's kind of important to kind of remember that, you know, not everyone is like truly mean or an asshole or out to get you. You know, some people just have bad days. And you know what I'm saying? I feel like most of us have a lot of bad days, you know? What else do I want to yap about tonight? Oh shit! Damn! I'm so blessed. I have so many like genuine people in my life. You know? Lifes, you know? Life be lifing sometimes. Yeah, life kicks you in the nuts, but at least you got nuts. You know what I'm saying? At least you still alive and kicking. You know what I'm saying? I do want to do my best to make folks proud. I've had so many people like sacrifice things, whether it was like money, time, energy, whether it's like teachers, family members, friends, to not, you know, make the most out of life, you know? It'd be like, I wouldn't say a disgrace, but I feel like it'd be almost be disrespectful. You know, I really do want to make an impact. So the people that did take that time, energy, and money can be like, that's my guy. I just need to be a part of something bigger than myself, you know? I think that's what it is. Speaking of bigger than me, I've been really trying to, I'm lying, I haven't really been trying. You know, I've been kind of dibbling back into my faith with Christianity and everything. Shout out Anna. Like all the shit that goes on in the world, like just like the cards I was dealt, I'm very like see with my own eyes kind of person. You know, all this the shitty shit that goes on in the world, you know, it makes me second guess. And when like miraculous things do happen, I'm just like, I'll admire at the moment, and then later, you know, whether it's that day, week, a month, I'm like, was that by chance? You know, I bought a Bible, I read it once. You know, I'm still in Genesis. I read like 5 pages, still haven't. That was probably a week ago. I haven't read it since. I guess another thing we'll talk about is like just being true to your own identity. You know, not being unapologetically you. I think it's really obvious when people are holding some type of front, whether they're trying to impress people or whatever the case is, you know? That gets real obvious. You kind of tell when someone's not being themselves. You know, who gives a fuck what people think? The stresses of like the unknown. However, the beauty of the unknown is like evenly matched. Not me. It's just it sucks, but you know, what would life be if you knew everything, you know? Damn. Ooh, now that's clean. Finish it. Oh! Guess another big thing is, I guess, not feeling like you're alone. Obviously, if you're watching this video, you're my dog. I saw a video. It was like 2 friends, and one was like, you know, if I was ever going through some stuff, you'd be the person I call. The other friend was like, thank you for not denying me the honor of like sticking with you in the mud. Because at the end of the day, it is on. If you really, you know what I'm saying, you really fuck with someone, it's an honor to, you know what I'm saying, be by their side at their lowest. This part reminds me of Wipeout. I used to watch that shit all the time growing up with my siblings. To this day, I think I'm still the only one that could get through it. I know my little sisters would get eliminated out the first couple. My big bro make it towards the end, and once it gets to the bouncy balls, oh yeah, it flips forward. His big ass. Yeah. Oh, what the hell happened? Oh. But yeah, chat, you know, I love y'all. This was just something, you know, I know it's gonna be a little different. So yeah, I appreciate y'all tuning into another channel, chat. You know, I love y'all. And I'll catch y'all on the next one.